So, crushes. Maybe you've had one, maybe you haven't, but everyone knows what they are. It's a simple admiration and love for someone that doesn't necessarily feel the same way, either because they don't know how you feel, or because they just see you as a good friend. Sometimes crushes can be good. They can make you happy and change your perspective on things around you, and other times it can be quite bad, especially if your crush doesn't feel the same way. You can get a painful feeling as if there ever was a thing between you two. But regardless, crushes make life interesting and they teach us how to grow. I can say that from experience, because I've had a lot of them in my lifetime. Probably a little too many. Being the dorky girl I am, I've naturally felt attraction to other people around me that sparked my interest. My first crush, in fact, began when I was only 4 years old. I had a male best friend that was the same age as me named Cole. Being best friends at a young age, we did everything together. We played, talked, explored our wooded neighborhood together, murdered a couple people, you know, normal best friend things. We were inseparable. I naturally became the stereotypical girl that would spout nonsense like, "When we grow up, I'm gonna be your wife." This crush was never big enough for me to take it any further than that though. I still saw him mostly as a friend, and kids that young don't even really know what love is. They love to tell each other they want to get married, but realistically, they're just young and having fun together. Another short-lived crush began in 3rd grade, when I had this weird affection for a black kid. It wasn't a normal crush. I was more obsessive over him. I would chase him while singing love songs and try to hug him, and I think most of it had to do with the fact that his sister would say, "You're so cute together." It would make me feel the urge to be affectionate when he clearly did not feel the same way. And I realized it wasn't a healthy way to interact with the crush, so I stopped being a weirdo. Well, that's debatable. And it didn't last long. Then in 4th grade, I went to a new elementary school for 4th and 5th graders, so there were lots of new kids from other schools. I met a boy named Bob the Builder. Just kidding, but I'm not using any of my crush's real names. And I don't know what triggered this crush on this new boy, but he was pretty short. Obviously, since I had a crush on him, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but his shortness defined him quite a bit. Bob liked a certain baseball team called the Boston Red Sox. And I was never a fan of sports since I sucked at them, but sometimes when your crush likes something, you find a new appreciation for it because you want them to like you. My stepdad liked the team too, and so I went out of my way to learn things about the team, and I would bring a lunchbox with their logo on it so my crush would see it and be like, "Ooh, she likes them too," hopefully making him more interested in me. This crush lasted a whole year, and I still remember a certain day during recess in 5th grade. It was about 5 minutes before recess ended when I realized I'd lost one of my purple star earrings. I was trying to retrace my steps so I could find them, but I'd walked around in a lot of different places, including a giant soccer field, so finding a tiny little earring felt impossible. Time was running out, and I kept getting more and more worried, and then I even started crying a little bit, which is a little silly since it was just a little earring. But then Bob came up to me. I was kind of surprised when he came over to me because we weren't necessarily friends. I honestly thought I was invisible to him most of the time. "Hey, what's wrong, Sophia?" I lost my earring." "What? Really? I'll help you find it. Where did you last see it?" I think the soccer field, but it also could have been over here. I don't know." "It's okay. Let's look here first." I couldn't believe it. He spent the rest of his recess helping me look for it. The bell rang, and yet he continued looking for it as all the other kids began walking towards the school. We were one of the few kids left, and I told him it was alright and that we should head inside. He apologized for my loss, and then we both headed inside. Losing my earring made me feel sad, but I was also thankful I was able to see such a sweet side of my crush. I felt so much happiness that my crush cared, and I fell for him a little bit more after that. It was a really sweet moment, and although I often forget things, I don't think this memory will easily be forgotten anytime soon. But then, my crush pushed me away. Our school was trying to be cool and trendy, so they joined in on this thing called a school lip-up. It's basically an event where they make a music video with all the student and staff, and it demonstrates school spirit, I guess. During gym class, they were doing a random draw, so whoever pulled out a certain slip from this hat was going to be the star of a certain part in the song, singing along to it. I happened to be the lucky winner in my class, so I would be one of the singers in the center. And guess who else was a winner? My crush. So being the lucky kids we were, we had to go to a practice session, and for some reason my crush was not being very nice to me. We had to partner up to practice, and I remember him complaining to the teacher that he didn't want to be my partner. I I was really upset, and I guess that kind of made me lose attraction for him. He just kind of became a meanie after that, and I didn't want to deal with liking someone who was mean to me. When I was in middle school, I met a new dude named Peter. He was cool, handsome, popular, and sporty. The exact opposite of me. And what was worse was that my friend also had a crush on him. I knew she liked him, but she didn't know I liked him, so I kept it a secret. He barely knew I existed, so I kinda just watched him from far away. He liked hockey, and I later learned that another thing he enjoyed was a series of books called Percy Jackson. The day before Valentine's Day, I wanted to confess my feelings to him, but as a secret admirer, so I spent the night thinking of something to write, and I eventually decided to write one of the cringiest Valentine's Day cards ever. Dear Peter, will you be the Percy to my Annabeth? Sincerely, your secret admirer. You know what's so dumb about that? I never put my name on it, so there was absolutely no way for him to tell who actually wrote it. I mean, I guess that's better than him finding my name and possibly making fun of me for it or something, but whatever. I was so nervous on Valentine's Day. I sneaked in the locker area and shoved the note in the locker slot, full of suspense as to whether someone would come out of nowhere. They didn't, and the feeling of success after putting it in felt so good. I never went out of my way other than that time to try confessing my feelings to him. Eventually, I had to move on since he was popular and began dating other popular girls. Another crush I had was on this guy named Drax. One day, my family was at Goodwill, and my sister told me about this guy, trying to match me up with him. I saw a picture of him and was instantly hooked. He had long, dark hair and glasses, and I thought he was very cute, so I sent him a message on my flip phone. Yes, I'm getting that old. Waiting for a reply from him. We talked for a couple weeks during the beginning, and I enjoyed every conversation we had, but he clearly wasn't interested in me. He would take forever to reply and was very formal with me. He liked 𝓤𝓚𝓒𝓘𝓐 a lot, so I would read it in class so we could talk about something together. I had to go out of my way to generate a conversation and wouldn't get much of a response out of him. It was exhausting, yet I liked him so much that I kept trying to build up our relationship. My efforts were futile though, and one day he told me he didn't feel the same way as I did, and we just stopped talking. It really hurt this time, because I was older and really wanted a relationship with him. After this whole ordeal, I went to the same high school as him and would see him in the halls walking to his next class. He never seemed to notice me, or maybe he didn't recognize me, but it hurt being reminded of him every time I walked to a certain class. Trey was another guy I had a crush on, and he was really hot. He liked anime, homestuck, and cosplaying, and I instantly fell for him. This crush of mine was also really nice to me. He once gave me a little figurine of Ice King as a little gift, and I still have it with me to this day. He was funny and could draw well, and one time he came to school with an eye patch, and underneath it, he revealed his eye with a 𝓤𝓤𝓟𝓚𝓐𝓛 high contact. It was so hot. So hot and cool. He attended a convention I'd go to every year, and I met him and he looked so dazzling in his cosplay. I thought he was so handsome, but he never felt the same way. Eventually, he started dating one of my friends, and I was so crushed about it. My friend would tell me about them kissing and doing things together, and I just had to pretend like I was fine with it because I didn't want to get in the way of the relationship. It felt awful though. Eventually they broke up and it was difficult being between the middle of it. I liked my crush and I wanted to hang out with him, but didn't want to ruin the relationship I had with my other friend. Trey did not like our school one bit, so we decided to transfer out. I was crushed about this because I liked him so much. He made me excited to go to school and I loved talking to him, so I made up my mind to write him a letter with the addition of a drawing. This was how it went. Dear Trey, hey! Where should I start? First, this isn't a cheesy confession, I swear! This is a farewell letter. By now, you're probably never coming back to the school. Also, I've never written anybody a letter like this. I'm really bad at knowing when I can consider someone a friend. I don't want them to feel offended. Anyways, I just want to say I'll miss you. Sorry if my handwriting is bad. I'm kinda tired. I worked a long time on the drawing. I hope you liked it. I never put so much effort into a gift. Hehe. I really admire you, senpai. You're funny, kind, smart, and sexy as fuck. Oh god. I guess I lied. I may still have a slight crush on you. Lol. I love senpai, but it's too late. I wish you'd reply more to messages, baka. You were the reason I got up a lot, to be honest. You could always make me smile and laugh. I guess that's why I loved you so much. You're the hottest guy I've ever met, and I'm not just saying that. Please, never give up on who you want to be. Screw the haters, you sexy beast. Senpai makes me happy. Senpai is a blessing. Senpai gives me hope. Senpai should never give up. He's the best. You are senpai. Heart. I was really embarrassed about giving it to him and didn't want to see his reaction for a damn good reason. So I waited for the very last moment of the school day to give it. Then I ran off and contemplated if giving him the letter was the right thing to do. It was such an embarrassing letter after all. But then, I received a message from him years after. We reconnected and reminisced about the past. Throughout the conversation, he brought up the letter and I immediately got embarrassed. He told me he kept the letter after all these years, and I was very surprised to hear this. I thought he'd throw it away or didn't even bother to read it. So knowing he still had it meant so much to me. He showed me it once again, and I was even more embarrassed because I forgot what I'd written to him after all these years. I was a hella weeb, and rereading it made me cringe so hard. Still, it was such a sweet moment, and I was so happy he still had it. So yeah, I had a lot of crushes in my life. It was more just Kid Sophia exploring out of curiosity, I think. It brought me joy for the most part, and made getting up and going to school worth it, so was there any harm involved with it? I don't know. Sometimes people take crushes too far, or end up reacting inappropriately when their crushes don't feel the same way. Either way, humans are awkward and crushes are a part of life. You can choose to turn those memories into something positive, or just leave them in your past. I know I had a lot of crushes, but you know what? It's okay. I enjoyed it. Okay, I liked having crushes. My end card isn't scripted, so leave me alone. Leave me alone, man. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm Sophia, and I'll see you in the future.